Hello, it's still early in the growing year here at Homegrown Veg in the United Kingdom, but we've got quite a few things on the go, and I want to give you an update today on some potatoes that I've planted. We've already got our fast start potatoes planted in the 10-inch water buckets, and we've got our store-bought potatoes and set-aside potatoes planted in the raised bed. I shot some film at the time of me doing both of those. We're going to have a quick look at those and then we'll bring you right up to date. So first off, this was me planting a fast start potato just over 2 months ago. Check this out, then come back to me. This guy's the biggest of the bunch, and I'm going to pot him up today. I'm going to put him in a 10-inch bucket. I have been watering these potatoes because I've seen roots coming out the bottom of these yogurt pots, and that's a good indication that you've got a potato plant in there, not just a potato. And if you've got a potato plant, it needs water. So I have been watering these guys of late. And today we're going to put this one into a 10-inch water bucket. But I would say this: these guys are quite comfortable where they are at the moment, especially these ones here, these smaller ones. They will grow on. There's no need to pot those up right now. There's no need to move them into a bucket right now. I'm just doing it with this big guy here because I want to. The rest, we'll let them get a bit bigger. But we'll do it with this big guy today, and I'll show you how I do it. And if you've not seen me do this before, and you've got some fast starts like this will give you an heads up as to how you might want to do it when it's your turn to pot up your fast start potatoes. Okay, right. I'm just going to move this off this table first to create some space. Okay, here we go. What do we need? We need a bucket. Got one. And that bucket needs to have 2 inches of mix in the bottom. Now this is a soil-based mix. It's soil I've been using for years. And it's got some potato fertiliser incorporated into it, just to give these potatoes that extra wee kick. Okay. This soil has been on a rack over winter in these buckets, covered with a layer of chop and drop. There is a lot of goodness already in there, and don't be surprised when I start doing this if you don't see a few worms going in there, because it's shot through with worms. There's some lovely big garden worms in there, and that's always a good indication. Believe me, worms in soil, good indication. If the soil was poor, there'd be no worms. They'd skedaddle. Right, let me see if I can get this out. Okay, and the variety is Vivaldi. Okay, let me just pop that there. Right, that's Vivaldi sitting in the bucket, but he's still in his yogurt pot. We want him sitting in the bucket minus the yogurt pot. Now I'm going to show you something now before I go any further with this. You're going to need one of these. It's a sawn off pop bottle, juice bottle, just sawn off. There's no end on it. Okay, this is going to give this potato plant some protection so that when we fill that bucket with soil, we're not going to damage the leaves, we're not going to break them all off. So watch. Can you see that? I'm sure you can. How good is that? Watch. Total protection. Okay. Let's pop that cup of tea over there before we knock it over. Let's bring this bucket back into shot. And let's get Vivaldi out of this yogurt pot, and hopefully in one piece. Oh yes, feeling good. How's that? Roots right to the bottom. So Vivaldi's ready to go now. This is the trick, trying to turn it over and getting it in there without this root ball breaking. Hey, so far so good. Oh yes, that's Vivaldi. I don't know if you're getting this. That's Vivaldi, look, sitting right in the middle on 2 inches of that prepared soil. Watch this. There's a protection for Vivaldi. How good's that? How good's that? Now then, we're just going to fill this bucket up like this, and you can be as rough as you like with this because Vivaldi is totally protected. Here, what's this? It's one of them garden worms I told you about. Get in there. Get in there. Have you seen me do this before? Here we go. So, when I take this bottle out, hopefully that potato plant's going to stay in there. And now you're saying, well, hold on, what's going to happen to those leaves? You're burying it up. Well, in the UK, and certainly in the part of the UK that I live, potatoes in the garden, we would fur them up. We would pull soil up over the leaves in the stitches, and that's normally the way to do it. I think the expression you may use in the US is hill them up. You pull a hill of soil over the potato. This is no different. This is no different. And when you pull a hill of soil up over the potato, it still grows through, doesn't it? This will grow through. I've done it for a number of years now. Watch this. Are you watching? How good is that? Come on! How good is that? All we need to do now is shake this in a little, like this. How's that? And now we can add a little more, nice and gently. Just like that. And we'll put that ticket in. And this particular potato plant's staying in the greenhouse because, as I've said, it's balding out there, it's blowing a gale. I'm not putting this out there just to get the top blown right off it. But maybe in a week or two's time, this can go outdoors. Hey, what do you think? What do you think? It looked savage, didn't it? Burying that potato like that. Thought, blimey, is that thing going to survive? He's just buried it. Let me show you this. Hey, how about that? How about that, Vivaldi? That's a potato plant, isn't it? So it's already been in this bucket for a couple of months, but it's fair to say they haven't been the warmest of months. But yeah, look at that. You've got to be happy with that. Got to be. It looks a lovely potato plant. Okay, let's go outside now and have a look at the potatoes in the raised bed. I'll tell you this before we go, and then we'll probably come back in here to wind it up. I did put some pebbles on the raised beds, and the pebbles were to mark the position of the potatoes that I'd just planted. So I planted 15 potatoes. 9 of them were shop bought and 6 of them were set aside potatoes. So there was no seed potatoes being planted, and none of them were fast start potatoes. And basically what I did was I excavated 15 holes with the trowel. The soil that came out of the holes I brought to the barrow. I mixed in some potato fertiliser with it, and that was the soil I used then to refill the holes. I planted 1 potato in each of the 15 holes, filled it with soil, and then put a little mound on top and a white pebble to mark the position. reason I do that is I like to be able to see where my potatoes are coming through, or more importantly where they're not coming through, because if there's a potato doesn't grow, then because I'm only growing 15, it's a station wasted and I haven't that much room anyway. So I really want 15 potato plants to grow. Now if I find a station that doesn't have a potato plant growing, then what I would do was I would investigate, and if something had gone badly wrong, then I'd just plant another potato, and I do have some reserves. But hey, let's go outside and let's have a look at how those raised bed potatoes are coming on. And what I'll do, wherever there's a potato breaking the soil, I'll remove the white pebble, because I know we've got a viable potato there. And where there is no potato breaking the soil, we'll have a look. We'll see where it's at. We'll see if it's just below the surface. And if it is, we'll remove that white pebble as well. And hopefully by the end of this video, there'll be no white pebbles on that bed. Well, I tell you, we've got to be happy with that, haven't we? 15 potatoes sown, every single one has struck, everyone's growing. Hey, we're happy with that. We couldn't be any happier. We couldn't be any happier. Now all we've got to do now, fingers crossed, is that we don't get any frost. But if we do get some frost, I think I've showed you this trick before, I'll simply use some of these buckets, I'll upturn them over the potato plant, and that'll give me the frost protection through the evening, then take the bucket off the next day. And hopefully, if there is any frost, we can avoid that as well. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. There will be regular updates. You will see this potato being harvested at some time in this growing year, and you will see those potatoes in the raised bed being dug up sometime this year, and as usual there will be a weigh-in, so we'll see what it is we're actually lifting. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. You're obviously staying safe, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video, would you? So this is Homegrown Veg, signing out.